Alright guys, Dokkan just dropped a massive news on us. Teq Gogeta and Physical Janemba are Ezaing. We have the details. Unfortunately, the translations are a little slow right now. We don't have them. But the Google Translate, as well as our Dokkan knowledge, gives us a pretty good idea of what these guys do without having to look at the actual official translations. Some things could differ, but for the most part, we'll get a good idea of how good these guys are from this. So let's go ahead and take a look. We have Gogeta on screen here. We're going to go ahead and start off with him since he does transform. In his base form, he has Ki +2, 200% attack and defense, and 50% attack and defense on super, which is going to be multiplying into his kit. He has 40% DR as well. Transforms one Ki sphere at random into rainbow Ki spheres. This time, though, it is guaranteed. Before, he used to have a high chance to do it. Now, it is guaranteed. And he gets 2 Ki each time when he obtains a rainbow Ki sphere. It gets in a guaranteed additional super or guaranteed additional attack that has a very high chance, which could be either 50% or 70%. Most likely, it's a 70% chance of activating a special move. He gets an additional 50% attack when he gets a rainbow Ki sphere, which is also going to be multiplicative. And an additional special move is always activated for him. So he has basically the new Gohan stuff where he does a super, then he has a 70% chance, and then he has a guaranteed. That's basically what he's going to be doing. If his HP is below 70% for one turn after appearing or at the start of his beginning turn, basically if he comes in at the turn under 70%, he's going to get 50% to attack and defense and an additional 20% damage reduction. Pretty good stuff. The main thing that we kind of need the translations for here is the super attack mechanic. It says increases attack and greatly raises defense for one turn. Greatly raises attack and greatly raises defense for one turn. There is a comma there, which would suggest that he infinitely stacks attack and base, which would be very good and very helpful for his offense. But that is not guaranteed, so take that with a grain of salt. His offense could be better or worse, depending on if that is a infinite raise. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at his post-transformation. Alright, we have the post-transformation Gogeta here. So this guy is an absolute freaking monster, man. He gets HP recovery of 30% on top of the HP recovery he gets when he transforms every single time that he comes in. Ki +5, 250% attack and defense, 77% attack and defense on super, guaranteed crits, 40% damage reduction, and transforms one random Ki sphere into rainbow Ki sphere, still guaranteed, but it is random. Ki +3 each time he gets a rainbow Ki sphere, and he gets 77% attack when a rainbow Ki sphere is obtained. I don't know if that is going to be per rainbow Ki sphere or just one, but it's most likely that it's just one rainbow Ki sphere gets him 77% attack. An additional special move is always guaranteed to activate as well, and he gets guard with a 40% increased damage reduction for 5 turns from his entry of transforming. And he also nullifies melee special moves after he attacks the person. He also has a high chance of evading enemy special moves, which is all pretty good stuff, man. Pretty good stuff. Hopefully that high chance of evading isn't restricted to just special moves, and that is just permanent. But we will find that out when we get the official translations from either Goresh or Minato, whenever we do get around to those. But there's a good, pretty base, good kit. He essentially is indestructible for 5 turns, man. Like, he has guard with like 90% DR. You can throw this guy in slot 1. He's rainbow orb changing. He's guaranteed supering. He's guaranteed critting. He's absolutely a freaking monster, man. As far as his buffs go, at 24 Ki for his ultra super, he gets a greatly attack raise for 3 turns. That's going to work very well. Obviously, you want to keep him on rotation for that. And he gets another great raise for 1 turn on his 12th Ki. That is pretty much the kit for this Teq Gogeta. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Janemba. Alright guys, we are here with Mr. LR Janemba here. Let's take a look at his kit. He gets defense 166%, guard against all attacks, 22% damage reduction. For his first appearance, he gets guaranteed additional attacks with a very high chance of it being a special move. Each time that he attacks, he gets Ki +2, maximum of 6, and attack and defense 66, maximum of 166%, and critical hit with a chance of 22%, maximum 22. That is for every time that he does an attack. It doesn't specify anymore whether it has to be in the first or second slot. That was something that he used to have an issue with before, where he would only build up in a certain slot, but it looks like they did go ahead and get rid of that, which is absolutely amazing. When he's in the first or second position, he also gets an additional damage reduction of 22%. When he's attacking in the second or third position, he gets an additional attack guaranteed that has a very high chance of being a special move, and has a very high chance of nullifying Ki Blast type super attacks that are aimed at him. He also has a temporary high chance of evading when receiving an enemy special move. So I believe the way that this is going to work for both Gogeta and Janemba is when they get supered, they have a high chance of dodging it. But on top of that, they could also just nullify it. So if they failed the nullification, then they have the dodge. And if they fail both, you can cry about it. I don't know. But they're going to be looking pretty good. They have very high defenses, so they shouldn't be taking too much damage from supers either way. He gets an increase of attack and defense for 1 turn and greatly raises on his 18 Ki. All pretty standard stuff. You definitely want to build this guy for max additional because you want to do as many attacks as possible to build him up. Now let's take a look at his rage form. In his rage form, he transforms all key orbs into physical key orbs. Each time he gets a key orb, he gets 2 key, and attack is increased by 16% for each key orb. That rage mode is actually going to do pretty good damage because of the fact that he has 1 guaranteed crit on his 18 key right there that we see. Also a guaranteed crit on his 12 key, but the fact that he is basically a multiplicative, guaranteed 16% per key sphere, that's going to pair really well with the fact that he's transforming the whole field into physical key spheres. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to these guys' defense calcs and see how good they are defensively. Alright guys, we have the Janemba calcs here. So guys, we have the Janemba calcs here. He's going to have a defense stat of 14,788. He's going to be getting a 200% leader skill right there. Then he's going to have the 166% defense from his passive right there. We're giving him 40% defense from his link set. And turn 1 with no attacks, just super attacking and getting that 1 attack of build-up, he's looking at 685k defense, which is very good, a very quick build-up. But obviously turn 1, this is a little risky, but he does have guard with like 44% DR. So this is still pretty good, but you might not want to put him slot 1 off the bat, depending on what event you're going. Like Evo Ken, maybe I wouldn't trust him slot 1. Cell Max, I wouldn't trust him slot 1. But other than that, once he's built up, you're going to be looking very good. So let's take a look at that build-up now. So here, this is what would happen if he did a Ultra Super into a normal attack. He'd be at 958k defense. This would be if he did another additional Super, and then he'd be at 1.1 million. This would be if he did 2 additional normals, and that would put him at maximum buildup. So his maximum buildup is going to be 109. And this would be if he did triple Super and also had maximum buildup, putting him at 153. Then this is going to be his start of turn when he is completely built up. You're looking at 732k defense in slot 1 with guard and 44% DR, man. That's going to be absolutely amazing. And then per additional super, he's going to be getting 219k defense, man. That is Janemba. Now let's go and take a look at Gogeta. Alright guys, we have Gogeta's calculations here. So you're looking at a 14,125 defense stat, 200% leader skill. On his passive, he's getting 200% attack and defense. With his links, he's getting 15% defense, and then he doesn't get anything else until he supers. But then when he supers, he gets a 50% raise from his 18 key, as well as a 50% raise from his other passive that gives him a multiplicative 50% buff. And with that being said, every single time he does an additional super, you're going to be looking at an additional 182k defense that he is building up. Now, in his base, if you do manage to get under 70%, you will have an additional 50% at the start of turn, which will boost you up to 639k defense when you do your super, 284 pre-super, and 213 per super afterwards. Now his post-transformation gets a little spicier. You're getting a much higher start of turn, starting off at 250%. Then he's getting slightly less defense from links. He's down to 10%. And when he's still a complete super maniac, but when he does his super attack, he goes from 271k defense to 721k defense, raising by an additional 240k per super, one of which is guaranteed, and he could get potentially up to 4 total, including his Ultra Super. Now, moving on, the turn that he comes back, because he does do a 3-turn raise on his 18 key, he'll start off on his after his first super, he'll be at 962k. He'll be at a much higher start of turn here as well. So let's go ahead and show you what his start of turn is going to be. Let me just modify this to be F8. And let's go ahead and go over here. And his defense on this turn will be 407k pre. So that's what you're looking at right there. And then per additional, you're looking at the same 240k, but obviously now you're starting off at a much higher start of turn, 407, and on his first super he's already at 1 million defense with 80% DR essentially, or 90%, and guard. Like this guy's indestructible, man. He's indestructible while showing you where the super attack is, while rainbow orb changing, while doing good damage, while having guaranteed crits. If you guys don't have this guy rainbowed, you need to go rainbow him. He's going to be the best utility character in the freaking game, man. With that being said, this is Ezaing signing out.